Hi everyone, my name is Kiricheart and I am an anime artist from the United States. Today I have the honor of coloring my own anime art using my amazing Chameleon pens. Thank you Chameleon Pens for allowing me to use such great markers. For coloring this picture, I'm restricting myself to only using these markers shown here, 5 of which are actually featured this month. These 5 markers come in the Gray Tones pack from Chameleon Pens. I'm also going to be using their deep black marker and their detail pen for making any corrections that I feel necessary needed on this picture. The first marker I'll be using is Warm Gray 3 for making shadows on the skin. I'm actually just going to use the white from the paper as a base color for my character's skin. I'm just going to place shadows wherever I think a shadow would naturally fall. For example, under her bangs, on the sides of her face, or anywhere on skin. Next, I like to have all my anime characters blush, so I'm going to use Neutral Gray 4 just to add some blush, which is just a simple circle colored in underneath the eyes. I'm going to use the detail pen now just to add strokes to the blush, make it more obvious that she's actually blushing. And I'm going to take Neutral Gray 4 yet again to add some dimension to her eyes. You'd think that I would color in the eyes next, but for some reason I always like to go straight for the hair. I'll be using Cool Gray 5 to first make some markings on the hair. The only reason I do this is to add some highlights to the hair, and by adding these marks, I know where to avoid coloring. Next, I'm going to add shadows to her hair, so I'll be using Warm Gray 7 for this. Just like the skin, I'll be placing shadows where I feel they would naturally go on my character. I'm not gonna lie, whenever I color, I tend to go over my lines and get sloppy. So I'm going to use the detail pen just to fix those corrections. Now, even though deep black doesn't come with the Gray Tones pack, a black marker is a necessity for any artist, especially me. So I'm going to use deep black to color in certain areas of the picture, like within her ears, the background, and wherever else I just feel like adding black to. I'm going back to using the detail pen to mark, once again, areas that I do not want to color in with my deep black marker. And then I can just go ahead and color in those areas. I'm actually going back to using the detail pen to define wherever I colored in the black areas. I'm just going to use my neutral gray and color in the areas that I imagine white. I think it's a very good shadow color to use for anything that you imagine white. I am now going to use my favorite color of the bunch, Cool Gray 9, and use the color chamber to create some nice gradient effects on my picture. Just take the chamber and the nib of your marker for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I hold it for 5 seconds, and every time I use the chamber, I only hold it for 5 seconds. I think this is the amount of time that creates the perfect effect for what I was going for. Honestly, this right here was what sold me onto getting Chameleon pens, because the gradient that comes out of these markers is gorgeous in my opinion. And next I'm going to use Cool Gray 9 again to color in the little chameleon pen my character is holding. I'm actually going to use colors like Neutral Gray 4, Cool Gray 5, and Deep Black just to add more details to that little chameleon pen I made, like shadowing and such. We're finally to the end of the picture where we color in the eyes. I'm going to start by using Neutral Gray 4 as the base color for my eyes, but I'm actually going to pretty much use every color I've used throughout the picture just on my eyes. I do this pretty much with all my anime eyes. I go from the lightest shade and build up with darker colors to add more depth. I also always leave coloring this part last because I feel as though it livens up the character at the end. Finally, and this is just if you'd like to add a little bit more detail, I added some white acrylic paint to add some more effects. And since I colored over my lines yet again in my eyes, I'm going to fix that with white paint and also add some highlights there too. And that, my friends, is how I color with my Chameleon pens. I'm sorry it took so long, but this is the way I do it. Yet again, thank you so much, Chameleon pens, for working with me and creating what is now my favorite markers to use.